Hello, hello. Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome to this lesson number two of our five-part series for the five things you need to know before you start a meditation practice. So, if you're joining us for the very first time, I'm Dr. Disha Mukherjee Phillip. I am a cardiologist who loves to deal with all matters of the heart. And I am also a holistic life coach and meditation teacher with both primordial sound meditation as well as a practitioner of Raja Yoga meditation as taught by the World Spiritual University. So, if you missed us last week for our lesson number one, no big deal. You can always ask me for the recording or check on Instagram, YouTube, or the Disha Phillip LLC Facebook group, Facebook page. It should be in there. If you're a female physician, hopefully you are part of our Meditation for Female Physicians group, and it is posted there as well. If you can't find it, just email me, Disha at DishaPhillip, PHILIP.com. All right. So just to recap, last week we spoke about figuring out our intention as we embark on this journey and our inner why. You heard a little bit about my why for embarking on meditation with the started with my spiritual journey with the loss of our first daughter, and then, of course, juggling a crazy cardiology attending life with two kids and a husband, and also this background history of grief that wasn't fully dealt with, right? And so then suddenly I find myself in this crazy drama of life. And I'm unraveling, not recognizing it, and then not being really who I wanted to be as a mother, as a partner, as a physician, right? And I just felt myself essentially drowning in this ocean of craziness of life. Maybe you can relate. So then that's when I embarked on my meditation journey and my entire life changed. Now, many of you already know this is why you're listening to this, or this is why you're even thinking about meditation, is because you've heard a whole bunch of things about why meditation is amazing, why it's so great. Of course, the health benefits from hypertension to anxiety to sleep improvement to anti-aging, right? To decreasing cardiovascular mortality, decreasing your risk of heart attack, all that stuff for the physical sense. You've heard that maybe, or maybe that's all well and good. And you're like, yeah. But I need to figure out how the heck to handle my relationship. Or maybe you're in the middle of a divorce and you are trying to keep yourself together as you navigate a custody battle. Or maybe you just found out that your partner has been a closet functional alcoholic and now is unraveling. And you're like, where did this come from? Right? Or maybe you're also navigating a deep, deep loss. Either the loss of any loved one, your parent, your sibling, your child, friend. Bottom line, maybe you've woken up and recognized that this is not where I thought I would be 10 years ago. This life that I'm seeing or experiencing is not how I thought it should be. Maybe you're just watching the news every day and feel worse and worse every single time you turn it on. And you're like I was, WTF? What the heck is going on here? Is there no happiness? Is there no joy? This doesn't seem right. This is not what I thought life was meant to be like. right? Or how can I, in good conscience, feel, even want to feel joy and happiness when so many people in the world are suffering? So many different scenarios, isn't there, in the drama of life? Which brings us to lesson number 2. Lesson number 2 is understanding your inner relationship. But first, before we get to that, I just want to share a very important thing that you should all know, which is my mission. So let me just um, share the screen here. So, the mission and truth that guides my work is based on the premise that we are not human beings seeking a spiritual experience, but rather we are spiritual beings having a human experience. I believe that at the deepest level, we are whole, pure beings of love who are deeply connected and inherently healthy. What does that mean? I remember first hearing Deepak Chopra actually say that quote from the Jesuit priest, um, Pierre Teilhard de Chardin. And he had said this, that we are not human beings seeking a spiritual experience, but rather we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And when I heard it for the first time, I didn't fully understand it, but something in my heart woke up, and it was like a light bulb went off also in my head, like ding, that's truth with a capital T. I didn't know what else to do with it, but it resonated very deeply with me. Does it resonate with you? Let me know. Put it in the comments wherever you're seeing this. I'm not going to be able to see it live right now, but I will go back and look. But put it in the comments, whether on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, if that quote resonates with you, that we are not human beings just seeking a spiritual experience, but rather we are spiritual beings having a human experience. Put that in the comments. So, in taking this a step further, right? And when one of the things that we teach in the intro to meditation is the concept of the fact that when you were born, right, you came out of your mother's womb and one of your parents looked at you, or maybe both of them, and they named you, right? So for me, I came out of my mother's womb and my father named me Disha. Great. And so maybe your parents named you Jane or Kathy or Jennifer or Rebecca, right? And so that being, right, that they named Disha, I'll use myself as the example, is looked totally different when she came out of her mother's womb compared to how she looked at 5 years old or 10 years old. I recently was looking through old pictures and I found a picture of myself when I was like 7 or 8. And I'm looking at that picture and I'm like, wow, like she looks so different that from who I am now, right? Or what I look like now, right? On the outside. And yet everybody called her Disha in the drama in life, and everybody calls me Disha. I recently just met another soul who's also named Disha, right? But The point is that that being, that soul, right, that came into that body is the same soul as the one talking to you right now. There is something inside each and every one of us that is constant, that is eternal, that even after the body stops working, will be referred to by those who knew her in this body as, oh, Disha, right? So there's a part of us, right? So this is something I talk with my patients about all the time, that we or I am not this body. This body changes constantly, right? None of the cells in this body are the same as they were when they came out of my mother's womb, right? This body changes all the time. And no matter what kind of living being you are, whether you're a dog, a cat, a kitty cat, a bird, or a mouse, or a human, everybody's soul leaves the body when their heart stops. So while on the outside, the body may look the same, but there's no beating heart there, right? We know that what made that person who they were when the body stops working, that is gone, right? Okay. So today, what I really want to discuss, and it's important for you to understand as you step into this journey, are the different parts and understanding the inner relationship of that soul. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen again. Okay. Perfect. So hopefully you can see this at the top. It says understanding your inner relationship. So when we're talking about our soul or who we really are, there's a part of us, that pure being that came out of the body, right, of your mother's womb, who is referred to as, or who I like to refer to as, your authentic self. It's the part of you that is who you really are. It's your gifts, it's your creativity, it's your passion. It's a place where you can feel love, you can feel resonance, you can feel your intuition, right? Maybe it's your life purpose, it's your motivation, your dharma, right? And when you are aligned, in alignment with your authentic self, you can feel that. Okay. Now, what seems to be more familiar, especially at this time on the planet during this huge age of transformation, what's running the show on this planet for most of us is our other part of us, which is the conditioned self. And so the conditioned self initially was created to protect us. Okay. Some people may call it the ego, or we can leave it at that. But it's the part of us that was created to try to protect us and to keep us safe. And the conditioned self is created by all the lessons and scripts and teachings from our parents, teachers, society, magazines, the news, whatever it is. And in the beginning, when we were children, it was important to develop this conditioned self for our physical safety, right? We needed to know and learn and hear that, hey, you better look both ways when you cross the street so you don't get run over by a car, right? Maybe it was ingrained into us as children that that was, really important. And so you do that. I watched my 10-year-old across the street the other day and I saw her stop and I was like, "You can go." She's like, "No, mom, there's a car coming." I was like, "Oh my God, thank God you saw it. Good, good job. Good job looking both ways and going," right? So that part of us is important initially as we grow older. But as we continue to grow in this body, we get more and more influences coming into us. And the next thing you know, you are in fear. You have um, limiting and distorted beliefs. Maybe you've succumbed to addictions. Maybe you're trying to control everything outside of you, and your conditioned self is running the show. So, your conditioned self is a part of you that used to serve you, but now at this stage in your life, maybe you're in your 40s, 50s, 60s, right? You've lived a good amount of life. You've had a lot of life experience. And maybe it's a part of you, a 6-year-old part of you who gets terrified when somebody yells at them, right? That's your conditioned self part. And the thing is that 98% of the planet right now is run by their conditioned self, and it doesn't feel good. Like for me, um, feeling disconnected from my husband or coming and ordering, correcting, and directing my children when I come home from work, right? Being irritated all the time. Your authentic self is never irritated, okay? But your conditioned self, like I knew day after day that I wasn't being true to myself in some way, shape, or form, but I couldn't get out of my own way, right? Which brings us to the next part, right? So if you keep going up and you can see on the screen there, the wise and loving adult or loving wise adult. Okay, that's at the top there. And the loving wise adult is the part of you who has made loving, kind decisions for yourself in the past. Maybe you're not even really sure. Sometimes, in order to really connect with your loving, wise adult, you can remember people from your past. I'm going to stop sharing this. Maybe you can remember people from your past. Maybe you had a teacher who you felt seen by, right? Or maybe you had a grandparent or a relative who you felt so safe with and you knew that they just adored you and loved you and you could go to them with anything. Or maybe you didn't have anybody like that in your life, but maybe there was somebody in the media. I always think of like Oprah. I always just love listening to her and hearing what she has to say. And, she was the one who really said that every human being wants the same thing. They want to know that they matter. They want to know that they are seen and heard and loved, right? And so maybe it was somebody like that. Or you may be a parent, hopefully, maybe not, but maybe you are. That is the parent that when your 3-year-old is having a tantrum, this loving, wise adult is channeled right through you to, instead of condemning the tantrum, is the one who has loving, kind, compassionate understanding for that child and is able to say, hey, maybe he just needs a nap, or hey, maybe he's just hungry and needs a little bit of food, or hey, maybe she just needs a hug, right? So I remember with my older daughter, Elise, she used to have so many tantrums. I mean, flailing just like with anything, right? And I remember learning from, I think it was from the book Conscious Discipline, actually. Becky Bailey, that was the name of the author. And she'd given a tool which I thought was so useful. And it was just grabbing my daughter, holding her really tight, and just saying to her, "Hey, I've got you. It's okay. You're safe. You can handle this. Got you. You're safe. You can handle this. I've got you. I love you. You're safe. You can handle this." That was the loving, wise adult that I channeled. And instantly when I did that with her, right? She would just, "Oh, mom." And it took me forever because initially when I would see her flailing, I'd be like, "Stop it." Right? And she was, "Stop it." Right? And that's not what she needs in that moment, right? So so I hope that is setting off some light bulbs for you, because the part when we meditate, we are going to be looking at our thoughts and really trying to see, who are they coming from? And when you first embark on this, many students complain, "I just have the to-do list going. I just, constantly, right?" Or maybe somebody will say, "I just hear all these shaming words, or somebody yelling at me, or you're punishing me, or words like, 'You're not good enough. I'm not worthy of that,' or 'I should be spending my time doing something else.'" Like, just all these thoughts. And it and then you will see also if you have any authentic self thoughts, like moments and sparks of creativity, or you remember something in it, you can feel the sensation of joy and love in your heart just thinking about it. So, in order to first really shift out of all of this, first, even before you start doing that, it will be important to understand your inner relationship and to figure out, in any moment in time, am I in my authentic self or my conditioned self? So that's going to be the first step. And I'm going to give you homework to do. Okay. So actually, I'm going to share my screen again because I want to show you. So, what we're going to do for the next week until we meet again is a authentic self, conditioned self time study. Now you might be like, "I'm in so much burnout and overwhelm, I can't even tell you, there's no way I can do any work." It's not like that. It's going to sound a little overwhelming, but you just do your best. Okay. And the first time I did this exercise, life changing ahas came for me. So let me just show you. And if you want this handout, definitely put it in the comments, handout, or email me or text me, or you know how to get a hold of me. And I will send it over to you. Okay. So this is the conditioned self, authentic self handout, which is, where are you right now? So basically, this goes from like 5 a.m. to 12 a.m. And every 15 minutes, you check in and you write down, how am I feeling right now? What are the thoughts that are going through my head? Do I feel like I'm being my authentic, happy, joyful, living my life purpose, inspired self? Or am I stuck in a spiral of shame and anger thoughts that my conditioned self is spewing at me? Okay. So you get the idea here. And stop screen share. And so doing that is going to be really, really useful for you, because you're not going to be able to reach any kinds of goals with meditation and recognizing your inner truth if you don't know where you're starting from. So you don't know where you're at. So first we have to establish, where are you at, right? You can't be like, "I want to go to California," and not know where you're at. Are you in New York, or are you in Florida? Are you in Minnesota? I mean, the route is going to be different, right? So first you have to establish yourself in, where am I at right now? What am I starting from? And that way we can, yes, I want peace. Yes, I want joy. Yes, I want to get back to my inner truth and feel like I'm living my life purpose. But until you know where you are living right now, it's going to be really, really challenging to get there. So that's the first step just for this week. One of the big ahas I had when I was dealing with one of my second episodes of burnout was I was it was during the pandemic, and, I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is crazy," we're working so much, the intensity and acuity is so high, and I got to a point where I was, like, really in a bad mood, and I know many of you have, experienced this as well, where you just feel like, "You know what? I don't wanna be a doctor anymore. I'm out. See ya. I'm really considering quitting my job because I hate this, every single part of this, blah." And I was like, that was conditioned self-talking, okay? Just so you know. But so that was conditioned self-talking, and I was like, "I'm out," right? But then, angel spoke, and this came into my mentor, Shelly Ryuta, came into my awareness, and it was like, "Deesh, do the time study." And I was like, "Okay, fine." And so I was in the office one day, and I brought the paper, like, printed it out on my computer, and then, like, I brought it to work with me, and I, like, had it on my desk. I had, like, I don't know, 20 patients to see or something and a whole bunch of echoes to read. And I went to see my first patient and then the second patient, and then I forgot, right? And I looked at my paper and I was like, oh, where am I at right now? And the huge thing that I recognized by doing this time study was that I actually really enjoyed taking care of patients. I loved being with them. I loved hearing their stories and guiding them on what the next step would be for their health, whatever it may be, mental, spiritual, physical, cardiac, whatever it was, and working with them towards that. I loved spending that time with them. And as the day went by, every single patient I was like, yes, authentic self. Yes, authentic self. Like I really felt like I was in my life's purpose. But then when I found myself towards the end of the day, right? Especially if I hadn't meditated, but when I found myself at the end of the day sitting in front of the computer, doing charts, doing messages, reading 1,000 echocardiograms, right? And then like the voices, the negativity, the negative thoughts. Oh, this sucks. Oh, this is torture. Oh, this is blah blah blah. Started coming out. I was like conditioned self, conditioned self, conditioned self, conditioned self. CS, CS, CS. So you can write AS or CS. Okay. And this was very eye opening for me because I recognized that there is a part of medicine that I truly love. And I love playing the role of the healer and the guide and the coach for these patients. This other part, which is a necessary evil or whatever you want to call it, charting, computer stuff, right? Well, I was not. That was something that I did not like. But I was making my entire job about that. And so for me, the answer was to limit how much of that I had to do. And so it dawned on me that I really I wanted to try out going part time in my day job. I know that's not an option for everyone, but the thought had been there for a very long time. And then finally, I got to a place where I was like, you know what? Maybe really pushing this forward and trying it out for me will be really helpful. And I'll say for myself, it has been life changing. It has helped me appreciate my profession again and my role as a doctor again. Um, and it's a lot more fulfilling when I know I don't have to be there every single day doing this stuff. Okay. But that was my experience. Maybe it will be different for you. Okay. So, what ahas? I'm excited to see what ahas you're going to have. All right. So, I said this was going to be 30 minutes. We're at 30:54. So, ask me any questions, put them in the comments below. Let me know if you want the handout. Just put handout in the comments and I'll send you over the handout. And I will see you back here next Thursday for our third lesson. Okay. Awesome. So, sending you all love. Have a beautiful, wonderful day. Let's do this. You're doing great. Mwah! Sending you love.